Hi, so welcome back. So we are busy with relevant costing, and this is relevant costing is really an all-encompassing module. We encounter this so often in business and in our own personal lives, where we have to make decisions, um, and sometimes we just need, in most cases, we need to just write down what are the costs and the income and the costs involved in the decision that we need to make, and usually that helps us to arrive at the decision. And one of the most common decisions in business is special order decisions. So a special order is generally categorized by an organization that is approached by an external party to supply a similar product to its existing product line in a different market, or to modify an existing product to suit the needs of the external party. So in other words, it's a company that's been approached by another company to produce something for them, and it's in addition to what they normally do for their normal customers. Um, so either that's why a different market, or we take an existing um, product and you modify it. So a good example would be when there's a Rugby World Cup or a Soccer World Cup, and Coca-Cola usually makes the Coke can, but now because it's a World Cup, they want to convert that Coke can into a rugby can or a soccer ball can, and that would be a modification. But it would be a special order because it's in addition to what they normally do. Right. Special orders are intended to be once off, um, and this is the main reason why they fall within the ambit of a short-term decision. So it's a short-term decision. It's a once-off decision. If it's not once off, if it's longer than once off, then it becomes more strategic, and then it becomes long-term. But usually special orders are short-term. So um, the best way to do this is by way of an example. And so just to remind you again that the definition of a relevant cost is the cost that changes um, between two alternatives. And really, when it comes to a special order, your special order alternatives are the following. So you either accept the special order or reject. That's your alternatives. And what you really have is the cash flows that differs between whether you accept or reject. Those are the relevant cash flows, which makes you decide whether to accept or reject the decision. Right, so I'm gonna just run through this class example with you, just a brief overview of the class example. So this is example 3, Bubbles Galore. They manufacture bubble gum. Their available production capacity of a month amounts to a million units, while sales are only 800,000 units. Bubblegum is sold for 4 rand per unit. So at the end of December, a leading toy manufacturer approaches Bubblegum to supply 150,000 units. So can you see this is in addition to what they normally do, a special order, and it will have to be modified to fit the newest toy. The bubble ship. The toy manufacturer has offered a contract price of 450 for delivery in January. The variable cost of the special bubblegum will be the same as the normal bubblegum, except that an additional 75,000 will be incurred for the modification. The variable cost for the normal bubblegum is 1 rand per unit. Fixed costs for the Bubbles Galore amount to 300,000 units per month. So what are we required to do? Is assess whether the toy manufacturer's order ought to be accepted. Right, so from the information above, we can extract the following future costs and income for the month. Very importantly, future cost and income. Cost and income. If it's not future, it's already irrelevant. So first thing we see is that normal sales will be 800,000 units per month, which amounts to 3.2 million. So 800,000 units, and they told us that at 4 rand per unit, that's 3.2 million. The special order is going to be 150,000 units, and they're telling us that they're going to pay 450,000 rand. Variable costs is, so in other words, to make our normal sales of 800,000, we're going to incur variable costs of 1 rand per unit, which is 800,000 times 1 rand, which is 125,000. And for the special order, it's 1 Rand multiplied by 150,000. Remember, variable cost changes with production or sales. So normal sales or production is 800, special order production or sales is 150, and then we just multiply it by the 1 Rand per unit. Then specifically to the special order, there is a 75,000 modification which will have to be incurred, which is a cost, and then fixed costs amounts to 300,000 for the facility, for Bubbles Galore. Now the trick is, remember I told you that for a special order your alternative is basically accept or reject. Now in this case for Bubbles Galore, it's either we accept this order from the store manufacturer or we reject it. Alright, so that's why this table's been laid out. We've already identified the totals. Now it's just a matter of identifying what's relevant and what's not. So okay, so if we if we accept the order, for the special order sales, we're going to get 450,000 inflow. They're going to give us that money. However, we're going to incur we're going to get 450,000 inflow. Okay. However, if we do not accept that order, nothing will come in from the special order. So the differential between the 450,000 units will be 450,000 inflow, and therefore that's relevant. Why is it relevant? Because it's a future cash flow that differs between these two alternatives. Right. The variable cost of the special order, so it's 1 Rand per unit, which amounts to 225,000. Sorry, it's not 1 Rand, it is 150 times 1, which is 150,000, plus the 75,000 modification, which is 225,000. If we do not accept the order, we won't pay anything. So the differential is 225, and again it's relevant because it's a future cash flow that differs between the two alternatives. Right, now we get to the normal sales. Whether we accept the order or do not accept the order, we're still going to sell to our normal customers, and that comes to 3.2 million. We will still incur variable costs of 800 whether we accept or do not accept. So therefore you can see with normal sales and normal variable costs, there's no differential and it's irrelevant. Okay, so the minute you have no differential or no future cash flow, it's irrelevant cost. And likewise for the fixed cost, whether we accept the order or not accept the order, we still have to incur 300,000. So the differential is 0, and therefore it's irrelevant. So the only relevant cost is the 450 and the 225,000, which is a net cash flow of 225,000, and therefore in this case Bubbles Galore should accept the special order as it will bring a positive cash flow of 225,000. Alright, so I hope this just gives you an idea of a special order. It really just comes down to what is my two decisions or alternatives, and it's accept or do not accept, and then it's the relevant cash flows between the two alternatives. And remember, for it to be relevant, it must differ, it must be cash, and it must differ between those alternatives, and then you therefore only take those relevant cash flows into account, and then basically you add up the relevant cash flows, and then you'll get your answer, and based on your answer you can make a decision. And in this case, that decision is we should accept the order because it will bring